Good evening, everybody. We're learning the Peticha, the Kabbalah, number 6. And these 4 aspects that we spoke about above are the secret of the 10 Sefirot that we differentiate in every created being. They are in general aspect the 4 spiritual worlds, and they are in the smallest details of reality. This is to say that what we learned in number 5, this is the progression of God giving to creation, the way that the creation comes out of the Creator. In the beginning, the Keter, which is God's desire to give goodness to creation, creates the desire to receive together with the light, which is called Chokhmah. Afterwards, the vessel of the desire to receive is aroused to want to give, to stop receiving, in order to have a similar characteristic to God. Afterwards, this is called Bina. Afterwards, in the end of the vessel of Bina, there begins to become a yearning, a desire for the light of Chokhmah, and makes an integration between the light of Chokhmah and its desire to give, which is called Zeranpin or Tiferet. And at the end of Tiferet, it begins the desire to receive to become more and more overcome until it leaves completely the way of giving and wants only to receive 100%. And that's called the sphere of Malchut, which is the true creation. So this we see in drawing number 2, in the characteristics. Desire to give goodness to creation is the Keter. Chokhmah is the purpose of creation, giving goodness to the creation. Bina is the tikkun of creation, the fixing of creation, giving. Tiferet is the integration of the two. And then Malchut is the final product of desire to receive. So it's saying to us in number 6 that these 4 aspects are the secret of the 10 Sefirot that are differentiated in all of creation and in every created being. How do we have 10? Because the Vav of the divine name, Tiferet, Zeranpin, includes 6 Sefirot. We'll learn this later on. Now, here the Baal Islam wants to make a connection between the Sefirot we learned about with the spiritual worlds. Let's look at the worlds on drawing number 2 or on drawing number 1. The first world is the world of Adam Kadmon. This is in a general way considered the Keter of the worlds, meaning the desire to give goodness to creation. Afterwards, the world of Atzilut is the aspect of Chokhmah, of the spiritual worlds. The general aspect of Atzilut is the sphere of Chokhmah. There the desire to receive is born with the light. There's not yet any action from the side of the created being. Every action is being done from the creator that wants to give goodness to the creation, and therefore creates the desire to receive the light. This world is the world of Atzilut, which is a very high world, relative to us, where we are in this world. Atzilut in Hebrew is related to the word for nearness, which alludes to having attachment to God. But here the created being is making no action. Then Bina is connected to the world of Bria. The general aspect of the world of Bria is the characteristic of giving. The third aspect is called Tiferet, or the world of Yetzirah. In the world of Yetzirah, the main characteristic is this integration between desire to give and desire to receive, between the characteristic of Chokhmah and Bina. And the fourth aspect is called Malchut, or the world of Asiyah. So therefore, in the world of Asiyah, here we have the biggest desire to receive without any sparks of giving. And therefore, this is the lowest world that is closest to this world. Good evening, everybody. There's people that are joining slowly. Is there a difference between the light of the neshama and the light of chasadim? The Rebbe says no. The light of the neshama is the light of chasad. We're in number 6. We'll explain the 4 aspects that come out in every soul. That means that all of our souls come out from the keter, which is God's desire to give goodness to creation. The soul of every single one of us passes through all the spiritual worlds. Adam Kadmon, Atzilot, Bria, Yitzira, Asiyah, until the soul arrives at this world. So the Baal Slam is giving us here the details, that when the soul comes from Ein Sof Baruch Hu, which is God's thought to give goodness to creation, and comes to the world of Atzilut, this is the first aspect of the soul, which means that the soul is in a very high place, that there the vessel does not yet feel itself that it's receiving, and therefore it doesn't want to stop its receiving. It's attached to the upper light completely. When the soul comes from Ein Sof, comes to this world of Atzilut, it's the first aspect of the soul, meaning it's considered the first state of the soul in terms of the levels of the soul. He's skipping here on the first spiritual world of Adam Kadmon, which relates to the tip of the Yud. It starts here with the world of Atzilut. And there in the world of Atzilut, it's not yet called by the name of a soul. The soul is not yet called soul, called neshama yet in this world. Because the term neshama alludes to there being some separation between the soul and the Creator. It comes to some sort of revelation of its own identity. But here the vessel does not yet feel itself. It doesn't feel that it's receiving, that it wants to receive. It's born together with the light. Like a baby that's born still doesn't identify itself. It's in the arms of its mother. And as long as there's not yet the form of a vessel, there's nothing to differentiate it from the Creator, to be called by a name of its own. And you already know that this first aspect of the vessel, that is the situation of the vessel in the sphere of Chokhmah, is not considered at all a vessel, because it is nullified completely to the light, which is to say that the soul in this state is nullified completely to the divine light. This is the secret of what it says, that in the world of Atzilut, it's complete godliness. Even the vessels are considered godliness, because the vessels don't feel themselves at all. They have no self-identity. And the secret of what the Holy Zohar says, the keter of the world of Atzilut, the light of Chaya, like in drawing number 2, that the light of the world of Atzilut is the light of Chaya, and also the vessels, they're all one. That's to say that everything is considered oneness. The desire to give goodness to creation, the light that the desire to give sends, and the vessels themselves, they're all considered one thing. God, the light, and the essence are one. This is in the spiritual world of Atzilut. Everything is completely refined. And also the souls of other types of life pass through the world of Atzilut on their way to this world. They are considered that they are still attached to God and not yet separate. The Rebbe is going to read in number 7. In the world of Bria, there is already ruling the second aspect. What is the second aspect? Meaning the vessel of the desire to give, of Bina. And therefore, when the soul progresses and comes to the world of Bria, meaning it comes down from Atzilut to Bria, and attains the vessel that's in that level, then it's called Neshama. The soul level is called Neshama, because it's come out of the essence of God and reaches a name unto itself called Neshama. Because the vessel already feels that it wants to receive. And the vessel feels that the light is coming from the place of only giving. And the vessel feels that it wants to become attached to the light, to change its characteristic to be like that of the light, and therefore it stops receiving and wants only to give. So, since there's here already an arousal from the vessel, because the vessel feels itself so much so that it makes action, so therefore it's considered separate from the light, and is called by its own name, the name of Neshama, which is showing that the vessel has reached a aspect of independence. But this is a very refined vessel, because even though the vessel has become aroused to make action and desires, but what is the desire? Desire is to give. So this level is considered completely spiritual. So this is the world of Atzilut and the world of Bria. Rebbe's asked another question. In the world of Bria, does every soul feel itself separate from all the souls, or are all the souls connected? The Rebbe says that the true oneness is in the world of Atzilut. Rebbe's asked a question. What's the difference between the four aspects and the four worlds? The Rebbe answers that the four worlds are general. The four aspects are details. And this we see in drawing number 1. There's worlds, 5 worlds. Within each world are 5 partsufim. Within each partsuf are 5 sefirot. So the spiritual worlds are general. For example, the world of Atzilut is a general system, and all the world of Atzilut has the characteristic of Chokhmah, even though it has all 5 of the parts of Fim, and all the parts of Fim have all 5 of the Sefirot. So, even though the world contains all of the characteristics and all the Sefirot, they are all under the general aspect of the sphere of that particular world. The Rebbe is taking another question. The Rebbe is asked if a world is describing a level of consciousness, a level of awareness, and the Rebbe says yes. The Rebbe is asked if the world of Atzilut contains also the sphere of Bina, so what's the difference? The Rebbe says there's a big difference. If you look at the difference between different people, for example, there's a person who loves to learn halakha, the spiritual laws. But we can't learn only halakha, there's other things to learn. So the person learns also Chumash and Mishnah, the Torah and the sages. But the person has like a head that enjoys learning the halakha. So even when he learns the Torah, he's always learning it through the perspective of halakha. So everything that person is learning, they're learning it through the eyes of halakha. There's also the opposite. There's a person that only Kabbalah speaks to them. A person that only Kabbalah is speaking to them, so learns everything. But when they learn halakha, they're learning it through the perspective of Kabbalah. Also when they're learning Chumash and Gemara, everything they're seeing the inner aspect of it. So we see that even though the general aspect is Kabbalah, the person is involved with all the different aspects, but they're all under the framework of the Kabbalah. That is to say, there's a general framework, the general characteristic, and all the details are within that general aspect. All the particulars fall under the control of the general aspect. So the sphere of Bina is the characteristic of giving, but it contains within it all the other aspects. There is no situation, large or big, that doesn't have all the aspects within it. It's not possible. Why? Because everything begins with the keter, the desire to God to give goodness to creation, and it ends in malchut, and everything is built by the same model. So then comes out the third aspect, which is the world of spiritual world of Yetzirah, and attains that vessel, and goes out of the spirituality of the level of Neshama, goes out of the desire to give, the complete desire to give from the aspect of Bina, the world of Bria, and now the soul takes on the name of Ruach. And in this world of Yetzirah, the vessel of the soul has more coarseness. It has a little bit of desire to receive, but it's still considered complete spirituality because it doesn't have enough of desire to receive to separate it from the essence of God to be called a body unto its own. But in the world of Asiyah, already there is ruling the fourth aspect, the Malchut, which is the finishing of the vessel of the desire to receive, and now it is called a body that has become completely separate from the essence of God, that's standing in its own independence. The intention here is not our physical body. The intention of body here means a completely separate entity. The desire to receive is made completely separate, and the light is called nefesh, which alludes to light without any movement of its own, like the light of a mineral in our physical reality. We don't see in a mineral any movement, but there is a lot of movement within the minerals. If we look inside with a microscope, we'll see there's lots of movement. So it wants to say that the aspect of the Malchut, of the desire to receive, the great desire to receive in the world of Asiyah, has no movement of its own, meaning no movement of holiness. The desire to receive is so much in control that it has no movement of holiness. So the light and the energy there is very small and is not felt. And know that there's no detailed reality that is not included within it, Atzlut, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. Any detail we take of reality has within it the entire system. Why? Because the general and the particular are the same. Even if we take something miniature, who gave birth to it? The Keter. And where is the created being there? The desire to receive that there is inside the stone. That's the Malchut. But the Malchut can only be born from Zerampin, Zerampin only from Bina, Bina only from Chokhmah. So there's no detail in reality that isn't born from Yud Kei Vav Kei, the four letters of Hashem's name, the four aspects. The Rebbe is asking if this is clear.